the man people couldn't read. In a quiet corner of the city, there lived a man named Victor. He wasn't loud. He didn't try to impress anyone. He didn't seek attention. Yet, people felt something around him. Not fear exactly, but a strange discomfort, because they couldn't understand him. And what people cannot understand, they cannot control. The beginning of the transformation. Victor wasn't always like this. There was a time when he was open, talkative, reactive, easy to read. People knew what he was thinking. They knew how to trigger him. They knew how to influence him. And because of that, they controlled him. The turning point. One day, after being disrespected in front of others, Victor realized something painful. Being predictable is a weakness. That day, he made a decision. He would change. Not to become cruel, not to harm others, but to become uncontrollable. What does dangerous really mean? According to principles aligned with Niccolò Machiavelli, a dangerous man is not someone who destroys others. He is someone who cannot be manipulated, cannot be easily read, and cannot be emotionally controlled. He is calm, strategic, and always aware. Sign 1. You speak less, but with purpose. Victor stopped talking unnecessarily. Before, he filled silence with words. Now, he allowed silence to exist. When he spoke, people listened because his words carried weight. Story, the meeting. At a gathering, people were debating loudly. Everyone wanted to prove a point. Victor said nothing. He simply observed. Then, at the right moment, he spoke one sentence, clear, direct, precise. The room went quiet, because when you speak less, every word matters more. Sign 2. You control your emotions completely. Victor realized something most people ignore. Emotion is the easiest way to control someone, so he trained himself. No instant reactions, no visible anger, no emotional outbursts. Not because he felt nothing, but because he chose what to show. Story, the insult. Once, someone insulted him publicly. Everyone expected a reaction, but Victor remained calm. He looked at the person and said nothing. Then he walked away. That moment spread through the room because calmness under pressure is rare. Sign 3. You observe more than you react. Victor began watching people carefully, their tone, their behavior, their patterns. He noticed things others didn't. Who lies, who exaggerates, who seeks attention. And once you see clearly, you cannot be easily deceived. The hidden advantage. Most people react instantly. They don't observe, they don't analyze, and because of that, they become predictable. Victor became the opposite. Sign 4. You become comfortable with silence. Silence is uncomfortable for most people. They rush to fill it, explain themselves, justify their actions. But Victor embraced silence because silence creates power. It makes others speak more, reveal more, expose more. Story, the conversation. A man tried to dominate a conversation with Victor, talking non-stop, trying to impress. Victor simply listened, nodded occasionally, said very little. By the end, the man revealed everything about himself without Victor asking a single question. Sign 5. You stop seeking approval. This was one of Victor's biggest changes. He stopped trying to be liked, stopped explaining himself, stopped proving his worth, and something unexpected happened. People started respecting him more. Why this happens? When you seek approval, you give power away. When you don't, you become independent, and independence is intimidating. Sign 6. You move in silence. Victor no longer shared everything. No detailed plans, no early announcements, no unnecessary explanations. He worked quietly and revealed results only when necessary. Story, the surprise. One day,
Victor achieved something significant. People were shocked because they didn't see it coming, and that made the impact stronger. Sign 7. You become hard to predict. This is the final sign, and the most powerful. Victor stopped reacting in expected ways. Sometimes he engaged, sometimes he walked away, sometimes he responded, sometimes he ignored. And because of this, people couldn't figure him out. The final realization. One evening, someone asked Victor, "Why have you changed so much?" He replied calmly, "I didn't change, I just stopped being easy to control." The truth about becoming dangerous. A dangerous man is not loud, he is not aggressive, he is not emotional. He is calm, observant, strategic, and most importantly, unpredictable. The inner shift. Victor didn't become cold, he didn't lose humanity, he simply gained awareness. He understood people better, and because of that, he protected himself better.
The mindset of the uncontrollable man. The silence that changed everything. Weeks passed. Victor was no longer the same man people once knew. He didn't react the same way. He didn't speak the same way. He didn't even carry himself the same way. And people noticed. But what they didn't understand was that the real transformation wasn't external. It was internal. The second layer of power. One evening, an old acquaintance approached Victor. "You've become different," he said. "Colder, harder to understand." Victor looked at him calmly and replied, "I've just become more aware." What most people never realize. Behavior can be copied, but mindset, that's where real power lives. According to principles aligned with Niccolò Machiavelli, true control begins when you control how you think. Sign 8. You detach from emotional dependence. Victor stopped relying on others for emotional stability. No need for constant validation, no need for approval, no need for reassurance. He became self-contained, and that made him powerful. Story: the ignored message. One day, someone he cared about ignored him. Before, this would have disturbed him. He would overthink, feel rejected, seek explanation. But now, he did nothing. No reaction, no emotional shift, because his state no longer depended on others. The deep truth: the more you depend on people emotionally, the more control they have over you. Remove that dependence and you become untouchable. Sign 9. You see through people instantly. Victor developed a new ability. He could read people quickly, not magically, but through observation, tone, body language, consistency. He began to notice patterns: who lies, who manipulates, who pretends. And once you see clearly, you stop being fooled. Story: the friendly mask. A man approached Victor with kindness, friendly tone, warm smile, but something felt off. Victor didn't react, he observed, and over time, the man revealed his true intention: manipulation. Victor avoided the trap without confrontation. Sign 10. You stop reacting to provocation completely. At this stage, it's not about controlling reactions anymore. It's about not feeling the urge to react at all. Victor reached this level slowly. People still tested him, still provoked him, but now it didn't affect him internally. The shift: before, trigger, emotion, reaction. Now, trigger, awareness, nothing. That nothing is power. Sign 11. You value your energy more than your ego. Most people react to protect ego, to prove a point, to defend themselves, to win arguments. But Victor realized winning arguments is often losing energy, so he chose differently. He protected his energy instead of his ego. Story: the unfinished argument.
Someone tried to argue with him intensely, raising their voice, pushing for a reaction. Victor listened for a moment, then simply walked away. No conclusion, no victory, but complete control. Why this is powerful? When you don't engage, you remove fuel from conflict, and without fuel, conflict dies. Sign 12, you become selective with people. Victor no longer gave everyone access, not to his time, not to his thoughts, not to his energy. He chose carefully who to engage, who to ignore, who to trust, and that selectiveness changed everything. The psychological effect. Scarcity creates value. When you are available to everyone, you lose importance. When you are selective, people respect your presence more. Sign 13, you think long-term, not emotionally. Victor stopped making decisions based on emotions, no impulsive reactions, no short-term thinking. He asked himself, what will this matter in a year? If the answer was nothing, he ignored it. Story, the delayed response. A situation demanded an immediate reaction. Everyone expected him to respond quickly, but Victor waited, observed, analyzed, then responded strategically, and because of that, he gained the upper hand. The final transformation. At this stage, Victor was no longer reacting to life, he was directing it, not controlling everything, but controlling himself. The final scene. As night fell over the city, Victor walked through quiet streets. People still talked, still judged, still reacted emotionally. But he was different, untouched, unbothered, uncontrolled. The ultimate truth. A dangerous man is not someone who harms others. He is someone who cannot be manipulated, cannot be emotionally controlled, cannot be easily understood. He moves differently, thinks differently, lives differently. The complete signs. You're becoming a dangerous man when you speak less but with purpose. You control your emotions. You observe more than you react. You're comfortable with silence. You stop seeking approval. You move in silence. You become unpredictable. You detach emotionally. You read people clearly. You stop reacting to provocation. You value energy over ego. You become selective. You think long-term. The final line. Victor disappeared into the night, not hiding, not running, but simply existing in a way most people never understand, because he had mastered something rare, himself.